Kristen Keith, joined with Jimmy Roberts from NBC Sports. You are our moderator today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have to ask, recap everything for me today in your eyes.
Whew, boy, there was certainly an awful lot to talk about. A bunch of solutions. I think my takeaway from both forums, the most interesting thing I heard might have come from the second forum about the idea that possibly that, what college sports might need would be some type of independent oversight and one that had teeth. The idea that leagues, teams, conferences are voluntarily going to do things that wouldn't necessarily be in their short-term best interest, it just doesn't seem like that's ever going to happen. On the other hand, I don't know if it's ever going to happen that we're going to get to a point where they're going to agree to be governed by people who are insisting on things that might not be in their best long-term interest either.
Now, where do you think the NCAA's place lies in the future of intercollegiate athletics?
I'm not sure, but it's interesting. The NCAA doesn't really govern football. The NCAA does own the basketball tournament and is supposed to be in charge of enforcement, but, it's like Sisyphus, pushing a rock up a hill. It's hard, and I mean, that's one of the things we asked. Does there need to be an NCAA? And we asked that in the first forum, and the answer was definitely there does, but I don't know that there can be an NCAA unless it's more effective than it is right now. And look, the deck may be stacked against it, so I'm not sure what the answer is.
What was the consensus involved from most of the panelists when you said, do student athletes, should they be paid and should they be seen as employees?
It's funny. I think that the consensus on that question, Kristen, was no. And I was surprised, even coming from two former athletes, Tom McMillan and Len Elmore. I think that there still is a feeling that this is not professional sports. As professional as these sports seem to be, it's not professional sports, and they shouldn't be. I do think that there's some middle ground where, where the true cost of a scholarship needs to be modified. And so, it's all semantics too, because are you going to pay them? No, but are you going to give them more money as part of their scholarship? The answer to that, I think, definitely has to be yes.
Now, how do you think universities potentially pay an athlete or compensate an athlete for their likeness and image? How do you think that's going to work in the future?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think that's one of the details that they're going to have to work out. I mean, I don't think that the status quo can continue. I mean, the example that I used during the forum about Oscar Robertson. I mean, Oscar Robertson got out of the University of Cincinnati in the late 50s, I think. The University of Cincinnati theoretically still owns, the rights to his likeness, and that can't be. So they're going to have to kind of figure out some way, whether it's trust funds or I'm not sure exactly what the answer is. There are a lot of people who are a lot smarter than I am who are going to kind of consider the issues. And luckily we talked to some of them today. That was some brain power up there.
A lot of it. Very bright people, and that's exactly why these forums were created. What do you think it says about the Big 12 to bring these people together and kind of make this initiative?
Yeah, I think it's really terrific. I mean, all credit due to Bob Bowlesby, who it was his idea, to do this. It says a lot that that a conference, and I should also say this, when I was approached about doing this, I was told in no uncertain terms that there were no holds barred, and that it was not about casting the best light on the Big 12, it was about asking questions and about trying to talk about the issues, and that's the only reason I did it, because I knew it would be an honest exchange of ideas, so I think it's really, really terrific. Bravo to the Big 12.
Thank you so much. Jimmy Roberts, our moderator today, who did a wonderful job. We really appreciate you joining us. Thanks for watching the Big 12 Digital Network.